All right, we just cleaned out the brew house here, and I'm gathering water on the potable hose for a 10-gallon beer brew. This will be a 10-gallon batch, and we'll get into it later what we're doing here and why we're doing it and the name of the beer. And the number is batch 163 that I can say right now. So we'll tell you the name of this once we get it started and whatnot. So why wouldn't I? Batch 163, we're gathering the water out of a potable hose. Batch 163 today is using up all the rest of my two-row malt from the Breeze Company. So we're going to grind up what I got here, add my Munich malt to it. What we're doing is a 10-gallon batch today. It's a vanilla coconut brown ale that I've been saying I'm going to make. And we're getting the recipe together for that. She will have 2 pounds of coconut in there, roasted coconut that the wife just roasted. We're going to do this in a 2-day batch here. We'll start today and finish tomorrow.
The brewer grinds the grains the night before the brew.
So what we're going to name this one 250 Amber Waves of Grain from the song for America's 250th birthday. And this should be done by the 4th of July. We're hoping it should be, no problem. It'll go into 2 different fermenting buckets. Like I said, it's a 10-gallon batch. I haven't done a 10-gallon batch in, a couple of years. So we're going to go through some grains here and then I get to place another order and know what I got left. So let's get this recipe together and we'll be happy pretty soon. Why wouldn't we? I just started to grind the grain, and I said to the wife, there's no need to really film grinding of the grain. Everybody's seen that before. And for some reason, it bit in, it torqued over, and I spilled a good pound of grain all over the ground. So going to have to rewrite this recipe yet again. This day's turning out to start off being pretty bad. And it went all over. The great grain spill of 2026. We'll be getting in the hot tub and making beer with the grains that are on our feet. And I did it again. This time I spilled it out of the bag. The bag slipped away from me, and I spilled, I don't know, about maybe an ounce of grain on the ground. We're going to get rid of this too. Oh boy, my day isn't going too good. So we're bringing the strike water in on the brew today, batch 163, the one we call 250 Amber Waves of Grain. And there's the grain down in there. How you doing? We got a nice mix of different things. We put that in the video. What's in there? There's 2-row in there. There's caramel 80 in there. There's German Munich in there. There's biscuit malt in there. And the wife will tell me one other thing, but
Caramel 80, Cara Red, Cara Pills.
Cara Pills I used up to make a difference. Cara Red for a little color. So 250 Amber Waves of Grain are sitting down in here as we find all the grains to put in there. You can see the different colors as they come about. So we're running 20 pounds of grain. So it's going to be a different dough, and the wife's going to have to be careful as this thickens up we don't get any dough balls. So I want to make sure I get room before I put the rest of the water in. I'm sure I will. I usually start out with about 7 gallons of water in the mash tun. And I see the temperature on the gauge is dropping, and we'll adjust that. So it looks like to be right on the spot. I'm probably going for a 154. Going high temperature, so you can see it thickening up. Here, temperature's down to exactly 148 right now, and we'll be bringing it up with some more strike water in a moment or two. That's a pretty thick mash for me. See, our temperature is way too low, so we'll pick her up. I've got my mash tun down to my own science. Over time, you'll figure out how your equipment works. Well, you need to warm it up more, start hotter. I always start like 10 to 12 degrees hotter than my dough in temperature I'm looking for. And with the rest of this water, I should be able to get to that temperature. No dough balls at all. That's a thick mash, baby. Thicker than I'm normal. My normal mash. Temperature's coming up to where we want to be. And see, let's hold it there a minute. Looks like we're 150. This is a 10-gallon batch, so I gotta do it a little different this time and take my time. So we'll be sparging quite a bit. Yeah, take a little bit more. Taking just about all my strike water. And I think I'd be able to get that in there. Hey, we're at 150. We are gonna do a batch sparge with this probably. So 150, 151. Not a bad spot to be. 151. I was shooting for 153 or so, but this ain't too bad. Mash for 1 hour. How you doing? 250 amber waves of grain off to the boil kettle. Now, I'm not going to do any verlaughing here. We're just going to run a full run here, because I got to do sparging, and I'll let it do. We're going to do a batch sparge, which means I'll get all my water in the mash tun at one time. So we'll be back when we get to that stage. So I just gathered about 5.5 gallons of the wort, and it's the difference between my 5-gallon batches to a 10-gallon batch, that the amount of grain has absorbed that much water. I would normally get about 7 gallons out of the initial 8.5 gallons that I put into the system. But here we're going to have to sparge with quite a bit of water, which I have ready behind me, so I'm not going to film that. I should film it, because maybe I'll drop in and burn myself or something, but like the other day when I was grinding the grains, I said, why should I bother filming this? Everybody's seen it a million times. I shut the camera off. I hit the drill. It started to spin the grain in beautiful. It was crushing it beautiful. And then it was like a piece of bark that was mixed with the grain. And it got stuck between the rollers, and the drill had enough torque to flip the whole grain mill upside down there and spill it all over the ground. I lost over a pound of 2-row. So I'll be placing another order with a company, and I just got the price in my head here. $63.69 for a 50-pound bag of rice delivered to my house. That's a good price for 63 bucks. So delivered. So I'll probably be ordering a bag of that shortly. So on with the sparge. So on batch 163, the 250 amber waves of grain, we're using a little vanilla. There's not much in there. It's almost empty, but it's going to get about a glass of that size. The bittering hop, we're going to go with Amarillo, 3 ounces right up front. And the Hirschbrocker hops in the cup, the green cup, they come in, alpha acids on the Amarillo hops are 9.4, and in the cup is the Hirschbrocker hops. Alpha acids on those are 2.2. So we didn't want a very hoppy beer on this brown ale, and coconut brown ale. And I forgot to mention, here's 2 pounds of roasted, delicious, you can eat this, it's delicious, coconut that the wife roasted in the oven last night. So this brew is going good. We've gathered 13 gallons of wort, which is quite a bit, 13 gallons. And we boil it on down to about 11 and a half and share it in two good-sized fermenting buckets. So I got to watch that the hot break doesn't happen behind my back, because when it happens, I got a good chance of this thing boiling over. 13 gallons of wort. We got to be careful here. This hot break's going to go be bananas. I'm going to film this a little bit. The wife's got this. We can shoot it down with some liquid here if we need to. Water in there.
Just plain water.
But what we're going to do is just monitor it carefully and make sure she's just boiling slowly. Last time I turned the camera off and I didn't get my mistake when I spilled the grain, so I decided to let it run here. And if it was too much footage, well, I'll just delete it. We definitely got a boil going on. So I'm going to cut it back a little bit as the wife watches. So there we go. I'm going to leave it at that boil rate right there for now. And I'm going to get the hops in now. So that'll cause another reaction. I get the one. Phew. 3 ounces of the Willamette, is it?
Amarillo.
Amarillo. Throw those in the basket. Get those started off. And then we have the other overflow thing here. The wife will tie up on that side. Is the 2 pounds of coconut. Oh, I gotta watch this burner. The coconut is in. And we're on our way, Houston. So that's what 13 and a half gallons of wort boiling looks like. 13 and a half gallons. We'll boil this down to the, about 11 mark. And we'll have enough to go into both fermenters there. Or maybe even longer. I forget what the wife says the sheet's over there. Or 1050. Nice rolling boil. Then I got a bucket down there I use to wash stuff out in. My hose is on. It's got a little valve on the end of it. You turn it on and off from here. And my drain hose is out the garage door already, waiting for the wort chiller to drain through it. And that's basically how I do things around here. Why wouldn't I? And I got the air conditioning on in here. It feels really nice, so no problem with that. So the boil's going on. How you doing? Everything else is backed up over there. Going on over there. I got the fermenters starting to get the sanitizer in them. Get them sanitized. I'm getting those ready. Got the valves in. What else? Everything's set to go. Hopefully we don't make no more mistakes. So about the last 15-20 minutes, we boiled off from 14 gallons, real close to 14 gallons, down to 12. And go to last edition of hops. I'm going to give it a cap of Irish moss. So we have a cup full of LD Carlson yeast energizer, yeast booster, whatever you want to call it. That's in. And we'll get ready to get these hop basket out of here in a few minutes. And flame out will be in about 15 minutes. I'll get my wort chiller ready. The 250 amber ways of grain are almost done. Flame out. After an hour and a half, this beer brew is coming to a completion. I hate this part. It's heavy on me. Wort chiller is in. We're chilling.
6.
10:56. We cooled down enough. We're going off to the number 1 fermenter, and I hope we have no coconut pieces in here. It's possible we do, but probably not. Valves are closed. Both fermenters have been sanitized. I fill them up with sanitizer right to the top. Fill them up with sanitizer right to the top, so there's no question that they've been sanitized. Then you let the wort drop in here fast. She'll oxygenate itself. Oh, you guys should smell this. It's amazing, the coconut smell. It's fantastic. So yeah, we're running 2 fermenters today. Sanitize everything. 1 pack of USO 5Es per container. I could have did 2, but I got the yeast energizer in there, and I never have a problem with fermentation. So we're just going to sprinkle this in now early and get it in there and let her do its thing, whatever its thing is. Watch it do. So that's the first fermenter, and we'll deal with the second one in a few minutes. Why wouldn't we? Fermenter number 2 getting filled. I'll make sure it fits in here, and I can get a little bit more in here if I need to. You can pull your black hose a while so it drains. Just drop it down there and let it run. And there we go. The the second bucket is being filled. Trying to get some oxygenation in there. And then we'll pitch the yeast, once again, which is USO 5. We'll keep everything sanitized. And we'll see what we got here when this stuff ferments. My bubbles are in there sanitizing, and that's about it. We'll wash the kettle, and we'll be done. This was a long beer brew. About 4.5 hours because of the sparging and stuff. But we sparged with 6, 7, almost 9 gallons with sparge water, believe it or not. And we were getting readings all the way down to the 10-15s there. So let's let this go a minute. All right, batch 163, everything is cleaned up, washed up, put away. It took a little longer than normal. It was a 10-gallon batch. I said batch 163. 250 amber waves of grain is the name, and she finished at 10:56, I believe, was the original gravity. So 2 weeks from now she'll be going into the keg, and about a week after that she'll be going into our stomach right around the 4th of July, which we brewed it for. So stay thirsty and watch for that video of how good this beer is going to be when we taste it. Why wouldn't you?